TheShmoJoe Productions. Hello YouTube, TheShmoJoe here, and we are here to talk about Graves. Graves is one of my favorite AD carries, and I think he's one of the best. He's got a lot of burst, he's pretty good at kiting, he's got a dash. There's not a lot about him that I don't like. His range is short, but if his range was long, he'd be a little broken. So let's start out with runes. I go with 4 armor pen marks and 5 attack damage marks. The reason I do this is because his early damage can snowball the lane, especially with the added armor penetration on his Q. And I also use this page for other like AD mages, for example Talon. And because we want to snowball the lane early, we're going to get some attack damage quints, armor seals, and magic resist glyphs. That way we are protected from the other AD carry, and we're also protected from any magic damage that their support might do. For example, in this game I'm playing against an Annie, and she does a lot of magic damage, and if I didn't have that MR blue, that could really suck. Attack damage is the most important thing on Graves, and tankiness is basically the second most important thing. Graves is deceptively tanky with his passive. He gains magic resist and armor while he's in combat. He gains up to 10 stacks. And this can help you win trades, which ultimately win you the lane. So something to keep in mind is watch your stacks, and as they're going up, try to make sure that they don't time out. So always attack something so that keeps you in combat so you continue to gain those stacks. Next we're going to look at masteries. And for masteries, I run a normal AD carry page of masteries. You want the crit for late game, you want the increased attack speed, you want the tankiness in the defense tree. I mean, it's a no-brainer. Sometimes you can sacrifice some tankiness in the defense tree for some mana regen in the utility. It's really up to you. I personally find that I'd rather have the tankiness, but either way goes. Now, when it comes to builds with Graves, I find that the best is a Bloodthirster into a Zeal right into Last Whisper. That'll give you the extra damage that you need on your Q and ultimate, and give you the armor penetration to deal lots of damage to tanks and demolish squishies. With that being your core build, after that it's really up to you. I suggest finishing Phantom Dancer and then moving right into IE. On Graves, I really don't buy boots. I find him more like a kind of like a, not like as in a healthy tank, but like a tank as in like a walking tank. Like as soon as he comes around, he's gonna deal tons of damage. Your job is 100-0 whatever comes at you, and that is how you're gonna survive. That and saving your dash for when it's important to get away. Your dash can be really deceptive, and it takes a lot of practice to know when to use it and when not to. Here are some examples of when to use it. Here you see this is an example. TF uses his gold card, but I dash away. I would assume that my team would be right here, and then that his enemy team would be right here, and I'd be shot back into my team, which would make me safe, basically. That's the idea when you're using your dash, is to make sure that you're safe, and using your dash during, like, as they stun you, dashing away, causing you to be stunned somewhere else makes you a lot safer than opposed to just standing there and getting stunned. So it's important to always have your E up for situations like this. The next thing we're going to talk about is Graves' Q damage. Now his Q damage is based on how many of his 3 little shots hit you. In this you saw that one did about maybe 1/10 of his health, while hitting all 3 of them did about 2/10. So at level 1 it's not really a big deal, but later on when stuff is right up against your face, you can do a lot of damage really quickly, and you'll see later on in the clip that proves this. Arguably one of Graves' best abilities is his smokescreen. What it does is it basically places a Nocturne ultimate in a little circle, and if you're inside the circle you cannot see out of it. And what this does is it causes disruption in teamwork, and can lead to a lot of complications on their side without being able to help out one another. I think this is an important ability to use in every single team fight, and it takes practice to know when and where to use it. The last ability I want to talk about is Graves' ultimate. It fires in a straight line, and whenever it hits something, it shoots a cone behind it, dealing more damage. However, if it does not hit something at its max range, it'll shoot the cone anyways. So you can get something that's really far away with a kill. It's really like a long range shot. It's really useful in a lot of situations. I've gotten a lot of kills, dragon steals, baron steals even. It's really strong and should not be underestimated. What you saw there was Graves' Q, R, and an auto attack. This is only at level 6. That did 80% of Twisted Fate's health. This is a very strong in team fights. It can lead to a quick victory in a team fight. I would strongly suggest using and practicing his ult, because nothing's worse than a missed Graves ult. You build Graves damage because of his burst, and if you don't get that off, it's just a nightmare. Alright, that's it for me. Thank you for watching. I'm going to leave you with this last clip. It's the reason I decided to make a Graves guide today. Other than he's like one of my favorite champions. Enjoy.